Okay, so I'm so excited today to bring Andrew Boykin just to talk about his manifestation journey and his manifestation experiences. So, Andre, can you tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, like I was dating a certain individual for about 6, 7 months, and then a situation happened where we broke up. Didn't have contact for about 6 months, and then I reached out to you for for some help about the situation, and literally that day, the movement started. That we kind of started getting talking, got back together, and so been working on that ever since.
Now, I'm really curious, especially for people that are new to manifestation. How did you even find my channel? How did you get on this manifestation journey?
Probably like a lot of people, YouTube. I was watching a bunch of different videos and a bunch of different people. And I had one other person that I met with before you, and it just wasn't, what didn't click. So now I found you on YouTube, and then we met. You gave me some great suggestions on what I need to do to move forward, and I've been doing it ever since.
I was just going to ask you that too. I was going to ask you, well, why did you choose me over all these other manifestation teachers? There's so many, I feel like.
Well, a lot of them were just like, you can manifest in 3 minutes, and it's going to happen overnight, or manifest a call overnight. And when I started watching your page, I didn't see any of those videos. You really went into detail on, okay, this is what you need to do, and I started listening and paying attention to it. It really was more of what I needed to do with myself versus
Mm.
that other person, if that makes sense.
No, that does make sense. So and that's really interesting because I was going to ask you is kind of working with me, what clicked or what do you think you've learned the most? And we'll get to
Uh,
the results. We'll get to the results. But I'm really curious about like you and like what it because the manifestation is about ourselves,
Mhm.
right?
And
So what
that's
did you
actually
learn?
that actually is what I learned the most, is that it's all my thinking, and it has to do with me versus the outside world, or another person. It all has to do with me, and one, doing the work that you tell me to do, actually doing it, and then
Mhm.
applying to what my thoughts are, and how I see this individual I wanted to manifest. So that's what I learned, is that it really has to do with me, and 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 my thoughts, and my putting in the work. Those are the two things I really have learned through this whole process of working with you.
So I'm really curious because a lot of people out there have certain spiritual beliefs. How did that play a part in your manifestation process or choosing me to work with having a certain spiritual beliefs?
Yeah, just I just came back to my, kind of raised in the church, and
Mhm.
have faith that, and that's where for me, that's what it really came down to, is having faith. Because
Mm.
obviously it's not an easy journey, and it's not easy. And there are times you're not gonna lie, where you feel like, okay, is this working? Am I gonna give up? But it's just really having faith and knowing that, you do the work, you put in the work, and it's gonna happen eventually.
Mhm. I love that. So, what were some of because you on this journey, as you were saying, there were several different parts where you and your girlfriend, basically fiance pretty soon. I mean, I don't want to
Hmm.
steal the thunder, but there's rings involved. And, we're off and on, no contact. What would you say was the most like surprising thing that happened during this journey so far? Because you've manifested her back 4 or 5 times.
Right. I guess that would be the most surprising thing, is how many times that it's come back, and it's lasted for a little bit, then something happened, then she came back again. You gave me more work to do. Something else happened, but then she kept coming back. I didn't initiate, with the exception of the very first time. I'm not the one that initiated the contact, or us getting back together. She did that, through everything again that you taught me, the tools that you gave me, pretty much everything that you told me to work on and everything that I started doing is how she came back to me in that exact, you know, not the exact way, but saying a lot of the things that I wanted her to say and to do, if that makes sense.
Can you explain that a little bit more? Like the process of kind of what you were doing, maybe what you were writing or saying, and then kind of how it showed up? I think that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, well, you gave me you told me how to script and basically what my new story would be, how I needed it, how I wanted the relationship to be with her going forward. So I made a list. You know, the very first time I made a list of like 10 things that how I wanted to see myself, how I wanted to see us together and or make up. And then out of those 10, probably 6 or 7 of them she told me when she came back. So it was really just making that list and then, you know, going over it every day, multiple times a day. Um, just like you said, really feeding my mind. So that was the first thing I did, is just really listen to you and go over that list that you gave me, the script that you gave me.
Yeah. And I think another thing that was really powerful that I remember was kind of the whole part of walking through like some of the news stories, because so often, we'll talk about, or people will talk about revising kind of like the bad things, especially if it's an ex kind of revising the story. And um if you could just share a little bit about kind of how the story that you wrote out, and then she basically came and did the exact same thing. You don't have to tell the whole detail, but
Yeah.
just that was remarkable, even for me. And I do this all the time, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wrote out again how I wanted to see the relationship, the conversation I wanted us to have, where I wanted us to have the conversation, you know, and what would happen in that conversation. And I wrote that out, and, you know, as God is my witness, not making this up, it literally played out that exact same way where she came to my house, we talked, we had a conversation exactly where I said we would have the conversation. Um, and it pretty much went exactly how I had scripted it to go.
I know. I know. I think that that's one of the most super powerful things about it. But I also have to give you, to me, it's you that did the work. A lot of people are going to watch this and they're going to say, I want his results. But talk about your commitment, because you've been committed.
Yeah. I I mean, I just started, I was committed in doing it. Like I knew what I wanted and I knew that I wanted this situation to work. And so I just put in the work. I just kept doing the affirmations. I kept doing the scripting like every day. I was consistent, you know, sometimes some may say even a little obsessed with it. But I just stayed consistent with it and kept doing, or and even still to this day, keep doing, you know, the affirmations, the scripting that you gave me. I just kept doing it no matter what, even when it wasn't looking like there was quote unquote movement or like, you know, you felt like giving up. I just kept going because I knew that this is what I wanted, and I knew that eventually it would happen. So I just kept going, being consistent and not giving up.
You just said probably one of the key things that I think separates people that have success and those that don't, is that you trusted that it would work, and that you said you were going to keep going no matter what.
Hmm.
And I have to say, like, that is probably one of the biggest differentiators for those that are successful, is the consistency combined with persistence, and then
Hmm.
your faith and belief in that it's going to work.
Right.
And I think too, like when we look back over the timeline, which is fun to do now that we're, kind of on this side of it, and there's been several instances of movement,
Yeah.
is that God, spirit, however you want to look at it, started showing you that there was movement, I feel like, and that you were impacting this relationship by the way that you were thinking and feeling. I know we
Mhm.
joke about it now about feeding the bears, but could you speak a little bit about the whole idea of like feeding the bears or feeding the fears and so forth?
Yeah, for me, you know the story. Like, you know, she'd come back, we have, you know, things would be good, And then I get these thoughts in my head on, okay, well, is she going to be around for a while, or, who's she talking to, or who else is, is there somebody else? So I started still having those thoughts, and then, or how long is this going to last? And then I, fed into some of the negative thinking, and then I started feeding into that, and then I got those negative results where, okay, now we're not talking again. And so I'm bummed. And so now I got to put in the work, even start all over again. So yeah, I definitely was doing that. And was feeding into the negative thoughts, and again, and that was initially until I learned how this all, it's just kind of how it all works, and that it all comes down to me and
Yeah,
my thoughts.
I think that's the most powerful thing. I mean, obviously, the relationship part is amazing. And, you big kudos to you for doing the work. But just speak to a little bit, I think, about how you feel like you've changed on the inside. Because I've seen the change on the inside, even the confidence.
Just again, I'm sorry to keep repeating myself, but just knowing that it really is my thoughts that create this whole situation, or anyone's their own thoughts, kind of getting in your own head. And so I just kind of started again doing the routines and working on, besides working on bringing her back, working on my, insecurities and my issues. And that was the biggest thing, is working on, I think you always say the word self concept,
Mhm.
so just working on my beliefs, and feeding myself and loving, kind of don't want to sound corny, but pouring love into myself. And like, I think I started doing that and doing it more and more, and really it started to really change me as a person and have confidence in myself.
Yeah.
Whether this situation was going to work out or not, which I felt it would, but if she came back or not, I knew that I would still be okay.
That's right. And part of the kind of her coming back even still has been, even I would say at some level, to kind of like Andre 2.0, Andre 3.0, because you have really emerged more confident, more knowing what you want. Also, even in your relationship, leading and just, I think, really stepping into this amazing partner. I think now that she would also agree with. Would you say? Wouldn't you say?
I would definitely say that, and I think mention this to you, through our sessions, that you know she sees the change. She sees that I'm a different person, that I'm putting in the work, and so by me, she's seeing me doing that is making her work on some things that she needs to work on. Besides me, things that I wanted for her, and that's another thing that has come to fruition, is that things I want for her now she's working on exact herself.
Yeah, because your energy and who you are is leading the way, and it's providing
Mhm.
a safe space for her to grow and everything, as well as you're speaking life now into all the good that your relationship is going to turn into, like all the good things, all the good dreams, all the good trips, all the good things. So tell us all a little bit about the manifestation and like where you guys are now. And I feel
Yeah.
like I'm waiting for the wedding invitation. But yes.
Well, I mean, like we're together, and this time though, it's not any back and forth, or coming and going. Like it's working out. It's working out really well. Um, again, we both done. I've done the work. She sees I've done the work. I'll continue to still do it. So we're together. She actually should be here shortly. So we're made a commitment to actually make it work. And anything that's happened in the past is the past, because again, I knew that this is the person that I wanted to be with, and so I was going to do whatever I needed to do to make this situation work and to go after it. And so yeah, and then like you said, one day, probably sooner than later, we'll have that wedding that you'll be invited to, so front row seat. So yeah.
No, thank you. Well, I'm so excited. And again, thank you for trusting me with your journey and your special relationship with your love. And yeah, I just want to say thank you and thank you for doing this interview.
Yeah, thank you. I wouldn't have been able to do it without you, seriously. So thank you as well. It's much appreciation.
Thank you.